Hello, hello, hello. Well, this is our first connection in English. Until now, we're talking in English about how the cultural expectations in one company, if maybe one multinational company, may affect the leadership or the employers of the company. So we have one situation, for example, when you're working in one company and your boss advised you to move to another country. So you have to have in mind that you are working to other country who that mean not only to move outside your country. Also, it means to move to another culture, and the culture is not only the language, the cities, and so on. The culture also means the way the workers do their work and their expectation, their images, and so on. I'm going to put one example. For example, one boss, Gabriela, for example, is moving from Brazil to Sweden. Okay, and she get his plane and she moved with so on, and she began to work with another team in the same company, but it means to move with other team, new people, new expectations, and new behavior and new ways to work for working. So, for example, in this case, to move from Brazil to Sweden and to work with people in the other country means that the culture of the work, the way the workers do their work, is different from one country to another. For example, we can see Gabriela, the boss, expect to the workers do exactly all she says in the same way with all the details and so on. Well, but this system is good for Brazil, but it isn't good for Sweden. Why? Because in Sweden the workers take the risks or take and have their own way to see the questions. The Swedish workers felt that this kind of boss that I order and you obey in Brazil, it's good, but it's not good in Sweden, because the Swedish workers usually discuss with the boss the way they have to do their work, and the boss usually take this question as an rebellion, or maybe as a challenge. No, they took this difference as they were being questioned as boss, and maybe that's a personal question for the boss, but it is really in deep. There is nothing personal about this, because the people in Sweden have a more democratic style, more democratic way to work, and they need to understand all they can do, why the orders of the boss are in that direction and not in other direction, and they question everything. And maybe not all kind of bosses are prepared for this, because the culture there in Sweden is inside the works is maybe more democratic, and in Brazil that means it is less democratic, because it's the kind of work the one person, the boss, order, and the 10 or 12 persons obey. This is a good question when the people, the workers involved in their works, but because this means that they have a high level of implication in the company, in the work, with the boss. But it depends of the level of confidence the boss have with the workers, because, as I said, many boss can take this as a challenge, as a trail, or maybe as an argument. For example, here in my country, in Spain, if the most of boss that maybe don't take well this kind of details inside the works, little details. Maybe the bosses inside Spain see this answer of the workers as a rebellion, maybe, or as lack of confidence, or maybe or something. So I'm going to read one text talking about this. After weeks of despite all their friendly lines, Gabriela, the boss, who moved from Brazil to Sweden, didn't feel respect as a leader in Sweden. Her new staff in Sweden would question her proposal openly in meetings, and when she gave them instruction on how to carry out a task, they will often go about in their own way without checking with her boss. When she announces her decision on the project, they will continue giving their opinion as if it was still up for discussion. But maybe it is not material of discussion. After weeks of frustration, Gabriela emailed her Swedish manager about the issues she was facing with her team. Her manager simply asked her if she felt her team was still performing and what she thought would help her better collaborate with her team members. Gabriela found her manager vague and didn't feel as he was managing the situation satisfactorily. What Gabriela was expecting was a cultural clash. A cultural clash because there is two different ways to see the questions in two countries. She was used to a more hierarchic framework where the team leader and manager took control and gave specific instruction on how things were to be done. This more directive management style worked well for her and her team in Brazil, but did not transfer well to her new team in Sweden, who were more used to a flattery hierarchic where decision making was more democratic in Sweden. When Gabriela took the issue to her Swedish manager, rather than stepping in with direction about what to do, her manager took on the role of coach and focused on getting her to come up with her own solution instead. Dutch social psychologist Geert Hofstede used the concept of power distance to describe how power is distributed and how hierarchy is perceived in different cultures. In her previous work environment, Gabriela was used to a high power distance culture, where power and authority are respected and everyone has their rightful place. In such a culture, leaders make the big decision and are not often challenged. Her Swedish team, however, were used to working in a low power distance cultural where subordinates often work together with their bosses to find solutions and make decisions. Here, leaders act as coaches of mentors who encourage independent thoughts and expects to be challenged. So, this is absolutely a different cultural, more democratic cultural inside the business, inside the company. Because when all the workers can plan and propose their ideas, and knowing that the boss is open to receive and to hear their ideas, they involve all the people in the organization to a better way to do the things. But not all the people are prepared to do this, because maybe the most people is habituated to not discuss inside the company, absolutely not discuss the decision of the boss, act as the leader says, but not discuss what the leader says. So what this mean? That maybe not all the cultures, all the countries are prepared for this style of leadership. But what is more efficient for the company? One boss thinking and ordering and 12 or 200 persons, workers, and only obeying without understand maybe what the boss want to do, what is the background of the thinking of the boss. Maybe I think it is absolutely more important, more interesting, the second way to see the question, because it means, already says, that the people in the second model, it is most involucrated with the company, more confident with all the workers and so on. But really, in the real situations here in Spain, when a worker discuss or inside the decision of a boss inside a company, it is seen as a challenge, as a trail, even as an argument, because here in Spain people have argument for all reasons. So inside your company, you don't want to have an argument with your boss, because it is a bad perception of the worker and of the boss. So you have here in Spain, you have to obey, shut up, and make the things in the way your boss want, without have the possibility to think another way to make your work. It is impossible in the most common situation here in Spain to act like that. It is my point of view about this question. Here in Spain, all the people is inside the work and outside the work. All the people want to convince you that their point of view are the right ones, and the opposite one is absolutely failed, or maybe wrong, directly wrong. So maybe it is not question of black and white, good and wrong. Maybe when you're talking to a people, if you are working with him, maybe the ideas came out, and people have the ability to express themselves and make another solution and make another way to work. But as I said, it is not easy for all kind of people. It depends of the grade of involvement with your company, and the grade of your grade of your level of implication with your work and your level of your cultural level, because to make decision between a lot of workers, it means have an important background in your work, in your career, and it is not maybe something who is available for all kind of people. So it is an important question, and I will like to share it with you. And I think you will say this is important in your works and in your lives. And I hope it is interesting for you to think about this. Okay, thank you. Many thanks for watching. In a few minutes, we're doing another video in Spanish.